see if we can bring in Orit Esther. So this is Rebbitzin Orit Esther. If you don't know of her, I'll tell you a little bit about her.
Bless you.
She is a very well-known, well-respected Rebbitzin. She's spoken through Chabad. She's spoken through other hero groups. She is a specialist in healing, trauma, therapy. She does energy work. She teaches a number of classes on energy work from a Torah perspective with Hashkafa. She teaches about crystals, numerology, and she just has a vast, wide range of knowledge. She also does a lot of tremendous chesed. She has an amazing free thing that she offers called Here to Listen, just for people that can schedule time to speak and just to be heard, just completely as a chesed. She's really here to help people grow and to help them heal. And we met because she's my client, and I just fell in love with the work that she does. And I actually attended a retreat with her this August, and it was just amazing. And I really wanted to bring that to Rehovot, and all of you would have a chance to experience that as well. So I really hope that you enjoy the shiur. I know it's going to be great. Rebbitzin Orit Esther Riter.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Yael. Thank you, Pesha. Thank you to the ladies of Rehovot. Very special to be here. I'd like to make mention of the names, Be'ezrat Hashem. First of all, I will start off by saying, may all, wow, meditation time. It's quiet.
It goes on and on.
Okay. Maybe we should just clock it so when we go into like a meditation, it's like quiet. Okay. So may all that I say and all the chizuk that maybe we should. Yeah, I was going to say maybe. So may all that I say and all the chizuk that we gain bring nachat ruach to Hashem Yitbarach, serve as a zchut and a merit for Klal Yisrael, invoke rachamei shamayim for all of those in need of yeshuot and nechamot, amongst them refuah shlema Tachana bat Sarah Orit. Wow, very touching. Moshe Baruch ben Esther Malka, Yonatan Nisan ben Elka Sora, Ilana Chava bat Vita Devora, and Mahavdil ben Chaim Lachaim, Leilui Nishmat, Hashem Inkom Damo, Ari Fold Zatzal, Zal, on his fourth year at site. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we should only hear good news, and Gmar Chatima Tova, and healing and health for all of Klal Yisrael. So I'll just say one word to my dear friend Yael. Really, it's just I'm honored to be in her presence, and everything that I say is going to come as an inspiration from her auric field, her energy field, and I'm just so happy to be here. So thank you, Yael, and thank you all for coming. So we named the class Coming Back. What does it mean to come back? What does it mean to make a new start? We're here during the 10 days, and we're here to hopefully come out somewhat more inspired in our lives, because this is a very, very auspicious and very important week that we're in. This week we finished, so to speak, our chapter in coronating Hashem over our lives. And I don't know how everyone went into Rosh Hashanah, but the idea of Rosh Hashanah really is saying to Hashem, you know what? I like our relationship. I'm okay with our relationship. We had a good year, right? And that's why I'm hiring you again to continue the contract, to be my father. I'm happy being your daughter. I'm asking you to please continue to be my father. And yet, at the same time, you know what? You paid me the goods well. I enjoyed working for you. I'm your servant. You're my king. Let's sign on another year's worth of a contract here where I will be your loyal servant and you'll be my king and you'll take care of me. And that's essentially what we kept doing over and over and over again when we said Avinu Malkeinu. We said to Hashem, I love you as my father. I love you as my king. I'll do anything for you because you're my father and because you're my king and I can rely on you no matter what goes on in my life. So that was the intention, whether we knew it or not. That was the intention. That's what we wanted to bring into the picture. And after we do that, leading after that, we now are in the 10 days to say, okay, wait a minute. We just formed a relationship pact here, okay? Now I have to clean my act up to make sure that I'm prepared to engage in this relationship in the most clean and pure way. And in order for us to be able to do that and really have an in-depth relationship, and all of us know whether we are in a relationship in our marriage, with our children, with our friends, with our soon-to-be spouses, doesn't matter, with our parents, we all have relationships. And we know that in order for a relationship to thrive and to really blossom and become, we want to try to be as honest and as communicative and as open as we possibly can. Because if we're hiding behind a lot of barriers and we're putting on a lot of garments, then somewhere along the line, when I forget to put that garment on, something else is going to come out. And then the person in front will be like, whoa, where'd you come from? And you bring back the other one. So we want to, in order to have a real wholesome relationship, we need to be in a place where we could be our true selves. And that's what we're basically doing here during these 10 days. We're going through a process of trying to reveal who I am really. And that's why it's called Lahzor B'Tshuva. The whole process of finding out who I really am. Now, something I said in my class, I don't even remember when it was, yesterday or the day before, said, Hashem gives us such an enormous gift on Yom Kippur. What's the enormous gift that Hashem gives us? What is it? Anybody? Forgiveness. Not only forgiveness, He gives us something else. He forgives us, but He does something even greater than that. That's the beginning part. What else? Acknowledging us. We're going deeper in. What else? Keep going. Something very specific we say on Yom Kippur. We don't say it any other time of the year. Ne'ilah, right. But what happened to get to Ne'ilah? Mayim Tahorim, right? Hashem puts us in His mikvah, right? V'shafachti lechem mayim tahorim, and I poured upon you these beautiful waters. Hashem cleansed us down. He cleanses us down. Going to a mikvah, that's a really, this is not just a regular mikvah. This is Hashem saying, I am going to cleanse you down so that your forgiveness will really be felt on a very, very, very deep level. And once a year, we get a chance to dip into this mikvah. Now I understand why you need the air, hon. Yeah. I'm already starting to feel, because I need to go in that mikvah maybe. I'm sorry. This is, yeah. You're with me? Good. You weren't in Tulum, Mexico with us, where we were really using those. We were really in the middle of the jungle using those. Thank you. In order to go into the mikvah and for it to be a kosher dipping, what do you need to do? Strip down. Wow. No mechitzas. Right? No mechitzas. No chatzitzot. No hiding behind garments. No, hey honey, I just want to hold on to. Nope. You've got to be raw, naked, ready to be exposed in front of the King of the universe. And Hashem says, if you really want this mikvah to really work for you, then I need you to go into a process. Hopefully we started it in Elul. There's always latecomers, it's fine. We're all late, right? Every day to take the time, strip another layer of a garment that either is too old and raggedy on me, I'm not interested in wearing for the new year, or doesn't fit my size, doesn't fit the style, it's not Jakatitama, whatever they called, I don't know, all these new, right? It's not Fox, it's not Castro, I don't know. I go for the simple ones, right? It needs to fit right. I need to be able to wear something that feels me. And Hashem says, and then you go into Yom Kippur, and the mikvah really works. The mikvah really works. You will emerge out of this Yom Kippur saying, That was super duper amazing. Now, it's hard. Of course, we have to fast, and we all get all nervous, and we get worried. But at the end of the day, there's this sense of, I feel this was amazing. And I'm praying for all of us that we should feel that. But in order to do that, we have to make the preparation. So we really are gifted. Now, every moment of life is a renewed moment of life. Every moment of life. It's not just Yom Kippur. But there's a certain energy, as Yael said, I deal with energy. There's a certain energy that descends down on Yom Kippur. Etzem heyuto ayom mechapel. The whole energy of Yom Kippur, the Satan is given a pass for 25 hours. He checks out once a year. Once a year he checks out. For 25 hours, he has no business engaging in your mind and in your heart. That's a gift. 25 hours, I can actually really get to know who I am. And yes, without the gashmiut, without the eating, without the certain clothing, right? Without the certain relations, I get to really be me naked in front of myself so that Hashem could take a look at me and analyze me, and hopefully, Bezrat Hashem, our hope is, that's what we daven for, have ultimate, ever-flowing, endless compassion, and put me in his mikvah. What mikvah is this? The mikvah of love. Everyone wants to walk out of Yom Kippur feeling that Hashem really, really opened up his gates of mercy and compassion, acknowledges how tough it's been for me, acknowledges how hard my life is, acknowledge how challenging exile is, how challenging my evil inclination is, and everyone's got their bud, has got their chevret that walks along his side, her side, every moment of the day, nagging and tagging, don't do this, don't forgive her, give him a patch, throw the plate, like all these yetzaharas of ours, right? Takes in different forms each time. And essentially, we get a free pass for those 24 hours. And Hashem says, now I really want you to see how pure, how beautiful. I want you to see yourself the way that I see you. That's what Hashem wants. It's all loving kindness. It's all about us developing a wholesome relationship with our own self. But again, it's not just going into the day without any preparation. Hashem is saying, I need you to return and do chazara b'tshuva, to come back. Come back. What does it mean to return? So we learn, the Talmud from Brachot teaches us, what is this state of return that you and I have to go back to? What is this? Where am I going? Where am I going? Where am I returning to? I mean, if I'm returning, it must mean I was there. So where is this place? I'm not necessarily interested in returning back to heaven because I'm interested in having another year of life. So where am I going back to? So the Talmud in Brachot says, the place of return is Hashem wants us to experience our righteousness. Hashem wants us to see ourselves in the pure essence and light of wholesomeness, of beauty, of purity, of pure intentions. He wants us to go back to it. And the only way that we will be able to go back to it is if I really allow myself to be fully vulnerable and exposed. I have to be willing to see myself for who I am, and the only way I could do that is if I seriously undress myself. So I have to prepare myself. If I really want to go into this new year as a new person with pure intentions, I'm ready to sign a new contract on my life. I want you, Hashem, to sign me into a new book. Then I have to be a new person. And the only way that I could do that is if I take the time over these 10 days and clarify for myself who I am, where is this righteous part of myself, Where's she been hiding for I don't know how many years? Come on, time to come out of the closet. And I want to get to know this. And as a young kid, I never understood why, but I had a liking to The Price is Right. I wasn't from. I loved Bob Barker. I heard he passed, and he rested in peace till since then. But I loved Bob Barker. I loved the way he would say, let's see what's hiding behind curtain number 1. And I remember during my lunch break, I would go, I literally was in public school across the street, so for lunch, I was able to go back home and eat. So I would watch Bob Barker for the hour of my lunch break when everyone was in school. It was such a great thing that I was, lived across the street from the public school that I was in. And I love that part, and it's interesting. I'm 53, almost 54 years old, and I still remember watching Bob Barker. Why? So that 53 years or whatever, minus however it was, I would remember to tell you all in Rehovot, right? Although I've mentioned it a few other times as well. I don't even know how long I have to speak. You're going to have to press pause. So how long do I have to speak? I don't even know how much we decided.
Another half an hour?
Okay, roughly. Okay. Oh boy, I better get started. I didn't even start yet. Okay. So anyway, the idea of this, what we want to take home from this, is that there is a you and me that's hiding behind the curtains. And every day we should wake up in the morning saying, I wonder who, for me, I wonder who Orit Esther is today. Because the Orit Esther I knew yesterday, she had to contend with other things. She fell, she elevated. But you know what? I and you all are made up of godly stuff called Or and Sof. That means there's a part of me that I don't even know exists. And that's the part that when I wake up in the morning, I'm interested in getting to know who she is. On Yom Kippur, we have the ability to go even a quantum leap ahead to try to figure out and to see ourselves and to be exposed to this new me. But again, that requires this preparatory work. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to open up your journals that Yael provided or was involved in bringing, thank you so much, to us. And if we're going to say that our intention now over the next couple of days is to return to sender, literally, to go back to the pure space that you and I know, Chelek Eloka Mimal means mamish. It's not just dumb words. Chelek Eloka Mimal means mamish. You take a mountain and you chisel a grain of its content. You put it underneath a microscope. Even though it's a little granule, same molecular structure as the whole entire mountain. That's the way Chazal and our rabbis explain to us what it means to have a Chelek Eloka Mimal. Hashem resides in us. There is a part of you and me that you don't even know. You think you know yourself, you know nothing. You don't even know how to think you know certain things about yourself. You maybe judge yourself based on your limitations, but you and I, we have no idea who we are. And how can I prove that to you? Someone go ahead and do something that really nags at you, and you'll find something coming out of you and be like, what was that? Was that me? And the opposite. Suddenly your heart opens up and you're willing to give and to do and become, right? There's always these new parts of self, right? So I'm going to challenge you to go into a place right now. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I want you to take the time to answer these questions. One of the ways that we get to know ourselves is by looking at what's important to us, by checking out our values. Yeah. Talk louder? Yes, I will definitely work on talking louder. Okay, so one of the ways that we get to know who we are is by checking to see what our value system is. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. This is not a social activity, because I knew that our time was limited. If we had more time, we did a 6-hour workshop, we'd break out into groups. But for now, just go into your journal, and I'm going to ask you to think about it. Don't just write right away. I'm going to ask you, and hopefully over the next few days leading up to Yom Kippur, you're going to keep revising this list and redefining, clarifying for yourself, okay? I want you to list 2 values that you hold dearest to you, that resonate the most to you in your life, and I want you to, in knowing these values, I want you to write down how they're expressed in your life. How do they come into expression? How do they manifest in your life? By how? By what? What do you do to bring these values into your life? And I'm going to give you a moment to think about it. And again, I know we don't have a lot of time, so you might have to continue this at home. But now that you've written down the question, again, what are the 2 values you hold the most dearest? How do you find them expressed in your life? Maybe you want to even write why, what brought you to this place? Is it yours? It's something you were conditioned to value because you were spoon-fed it. Yes?
So, when you get an assignment, everything backwards from your brain.
No, of course.
Yeah, so can you give us some pointers on finding those values? Like, where would I look?
So for me, it's important, let's just say it's important in my life. The value is to work on myself and work on the side of being as benevolent as I possibly can, giving to others as far as I possibly can extend myself. That would be a value for me. For me, that's like a value that I hold very dear. Another one could be, what's valuable? Truth. I won't compromise. I won't lie to someone. Thievery. I'm very careful about stealing somebody's time, money, energy, knowledge. That's what I'm referring to.
I think what I meant was that what questions do we need to ask ourselves to find what that is for us?
So that's what I'm saying. What do you hold dear? What do you hold dear? What is there? If there's one thing I could say to you, what defines you? That's really that's what I'm saying about the value. The value defines you. I'm gonna go to the extreme. What would you die for? That's extreme. What would you live for? What do you live for? And what would you be willing to die for? Not in the literal sense, or maybe yes. Like something that would really cause you even an emotional death. An emotional death. If you met someone and they had this value, it would emotionally crush you because that's not where you hold. Bless you. Okay? Okay? Number 2. I'm just going to move forward because I want to,
I'm just
Yeah, just write it down. It's okay. You know what? I'm also going very quickly. I'm not anticipating necessarily. You could write the question and skip the next page, so you give yourself time. I also want to tell you the importance that I have discovered in journaling. I don't know if any of you journal. I cannot express to you how amazing and therapeutic it is to just have a notebook and paper and pad and pen and just empty out your brain and just write. Just every day, just write a letter to yourself. Write a letter to a person that you can't speak to. Write what you're going through. Write your emotional state. Write your thanks. Doesn't have to be gratitude only. It could be also, I'm really ticked off it. But I cannot explain to you what it means to pick up a pen. Seems so simple, but you pick up a pen and you actually empty out your brain. We're all in brain fog. And the racy thoughts of our, I hate to say it, ADD nation, I don't like to label us, is because we just keep everything in our brain. We live in our brain too much. We have to find a mode of expression, and journaling is very, very valuable. Number 2, so again, you could do this on your own free time. I'm just giving you a template to work with, because Be'ezrat Hashem, the idea is for you to go into Yom Kippur stripped naked, with clothes, but you're naked, right? Don't anyone take me literally, please. I never know who I'm talking to. Number 2, okay? If you, right, yeah, then we'll really have a great Yom Kippur. God forbid, right? Okay, the number 2, I assumed with question number 1 that you implement these values, right? You heard in my question. But what if I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to challenge you now, and I'm going to say, number 2, I'm asking you, you do these values, you implement these values. Or maybe you weren't able to answer that question. Maybe you weren't able to say where you actually express those values. Maybe you had a hard time coming up with the ideas of where it actually plays out into your life. So if so, or even if you do express them, so there's two parts to this question. If you express them, how could you do better? And if you don't express them, where is your accountability for why you're not living up to those values? What can you do? Where is your share? Where is your responsibility in you not living up to the values that you know you hold dear? And if you already manifest them and express them in your life, how can you do better? How can you strengthen that for yourself in the coming year in the most positive way? It's really 2 flip sides, because again, if you express them, right, if you express them, great, how can you do it better? And if you don't, why don't you? Where's your responsibility? If they're important to you, why aren't you doing it? In very blunt terms, I mean, it sounds very kind of like critical, but it's constructive, right? So I'll leave you another half a minute just to start the process. Now you really have to finish the journaling, because you can't leave half sentences. I'm sorry? Typing? Okay. Thank you. And number 3, again, here we are. I'm just giving you just some things to think about. Can you see how these values would enable you to touch that chelek eloka mimal, that pure and righteous pintalayid, that part of godliness that is hiding inside of you? Can you see that these values are directly connected to your godly purpose of why you're here in this world? And if not, why not? And I'm going to challenge you to find and make the roadmap for yourself. Make a roadmap for yourself and make a connection between your values and the reason why Hashem brought you in the universe. Make that connection. If you can't see it, take the time to analyze how you could create a roadmap and a pathway that would enable you, through adhering to these values, it would help you understand why, not everything, but a piece and part of why you're here in this world, why Hashem thought about you when He thought you into existence. Because that's really what you are. We all are here, products of Hashem's thinking about us, because He thinks, and while He thinks, He's thinking about how we are productive individuals helping to make this world a better place. So those values and adhering and upkeeping those values is making the world a better place. Person by person, value by value, in their own way. What?
What question are we answering?
So here we're going to ask ourselves, do I see a direct connection between the values that I outlined, and can I now see myself in a more righteous, pure place? Like, wow, I never thought about myself that is really an important value in my life. Like, this is your point of return. That's basically what it is. Do you see how those values are your point of return? That is your connection. That's your godly purpose. That's the reason why you're here. Part of it. A big part of it.
was something about why did Hashem give us these values? Or,
No, I didn't even talk.
So I have a hard time synthesizing your introduction into a question that I can answer. Connection between my values and what?
And your godly purpose.
And my godly.
And your godly purpose. Yes. And your godly purpose is for you to, what is your godly purpose? What is the godly purpose? The godly purpose is for you to be as perfect or a perfected representative of the purity and righteousness of God. So when you channel your values and your righteousness in the world, you are a shining, sterling representative of God in the universe. And that's what we want to make a connection to in our lives. We want to see that part. And now, here's the avoda. The avoda is, if I don't see it, what garments am I wearing? See how I'm making the connection to what I said? What garments am I wearing that are not allowing me to be as perfected of an expression of this righteousness in my life? That is something I want, and I only gave you 2. By the way, you've got plenty of others in your closet. We only have a few days. I'm not trying to daunt anybody here, but start with the 2. Come to Hashem with something. That's what I'm asking all of us. Come to Hashem with something. Say, I am an Eved. You know why I'm an Eved? Do you know why I'm a servant of Hashem? Because I'm in my avoda. And this journal is your avoda. You're showing Hashem, I'm in my avoda. Do you see I've been writing myself a letter? And by the way, why am I writing this? Do you know why it's important to write this? Because what does Hashem do on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur? I want him to see what I wrote before he writes what he wants to write to me. I say it and I have goosebumps. I want Hashem to see what I wrote in my journal before he decides to write me in what I'm going to go through in my coming year. Huh? You can't hear? I want Hashem to read what I wrote in my book before he writes me in his book. And that's why I want to bring this book into Yom Kippur. I want him to see I'm an Eved because I'm in my avoda. I'm showing you, Hashem, I'm interested in bringing out my pure... Now I'm going at another layer. I have to believe that I'm really righteous to do this work, correct? This is self-confidence according to Torah psychology. Because if I can't find my point of righteousness, I can't do this work. Check yourself out. How hard is it for you to write this? Because if it's hard, now I have to do an inventory to see, do I really think I'm righteous? Do I really believe that I have a righteous point inside of me? Maybe I have cloaked myself down and garmented and shut my chelek eloka mimah, my point of righteousness, so much that I can't even find this part. Where's curtain number 1? I don't even see any curtains. I don't even see any curtains. So I want to at least do this work to begin to pierce the layers that are blocking me from finding the godly part. And when I find my godly part, what do I find? What do I find? Godly part means I found God. If I found a part, I found him. Do I not want to find him before I go into Yom Kippur? Of course I do. So this is my way. Self-discovery is God discovery. If I can discover something about myself, then I can find the one who created me that brought the potential of this to come out. Right? Last but not least, this is a toughie. And this is where you really need to give it some time. So I'm just going to put you write down the question, and let's not maybe necessarily even answer it now because I want to move forward with the class. Because Yael is telling me I have 10 more minutes. I didn't even get started. Okay. Question number 4. How would you like to be remembered after 120? And can you make a connection between the values that you set forth for yourself in the first question and how you would like to be remembered after 120? I would hope that there would be a very profound connection between question 1 and 4. It's a circle. That's what Yom Kippur is. It's bringing things to full circle so I could start a new circle. That's exactly what it is. That is a very deep answer. I'm going to move forward. I have books by...
People have to leave the time constraints, so you can feel free to leave. I don't know you, but I'm happy for you to go on as long as you feel comfortable.
Really? We have till next Yom Kippur? Oh, great. Oh, I have, even though empty pages, but I have, Hashem gives me in my mind. So one of the things that we learn, so those are your questions. Have fun with them over the next few days. Okay? Good thing I didn't come to you Motzei Shabbos, right? Good thing you have a couple of days and sit down with it. I'm sure you all will write, hopefully, text me or Yael and tell me what a profound experience this has been for you. I really hope. And no chavruta buddies. This is between you, yourself, and I, and God. Okay? Just sit with yourself in the silence of your beingness and ask yourself these questions and go inside. So in order to be able to, the purpose in doing all this is to bring you back to the place of purity that you have residing in you in a faint memory before every single one of us, we all did it, we took an active role in that sin in Gan Eden. That place of purity before the sin resides in you and I. We want to go back there. We want to go back to that place of purity because the whole purpose of 5,784, starting 84 years, is to go back into that place, to have a face-to-face relationship with Hashem, to be able to see Hashem in all His glory and compassion and all the things we read about, right? Ahavat Rabbah, right? And Ahavat Olam, and all these loves, Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs that define this intense love and benevolence that Hashem has for us. I want to be able to see that. In order for me to be able to see that, I have to first recognize that I am a beholder of that purity. I am a beholder of that chesed. I am a beholder of that righteousness. And that will help us recalibrate ourselves to really get to know who we are, and that'll also help us define for ourselves proper expectations for what we want and what we can expect of ourselves in our New Year's resolutions. How many people set themselves up to such high New Year's resolutions? Wait a minute. Are you ready for it? I mean, you can't go from kindergarten to PhD in 3 seconds. Slowly, Hashem gave us 120 years. You know why? Because we need 120 years to get to greater, more pure stages in our lives. So the idea here is to experience, as I'm shaving down these layers, as I'm getting to know those pure places inside of me, what's going to happen, the intention of all this, is that what's rising up inside of me is a tremendous amount of love, of appreciation for the life that God gave me. Because I realize that there is so much I can, should, and intend to do now in the coming year. And who can I give credit to for all that? But to my benevolent God, who gave me life. And I'm utilizing it well. I'm saying to Hashem, everything that you gave me till now, here, look, I'm doing the work. I'm going to utilize. I'm asking you for more. Hashem says, wait a minute, did you go into your basement to see what you have down there? Did you go into your inventory? Did you check to see all that I have already given you? Because yes, as I think the beautiful soul, what's her name? Karen? Karen. She said something so beautiful. She said, wait a minute. And I didn't say this, but you said, these values were given to me by God. You were right. So when I come to this whole avoda, and I go inside of myself, I realize that these values, this soul mission that holds to these values, that's what God gave me. And I can embrace it. I can embrace my tafkid. I can embrace my purpose and why I'm here for life. And I can really be in a profound sense of appreciation for myself and for Hashem. Wow, you thought about that for me, little old me. And you hold me to such a standard that I can hold these values. But if that's what's important to me, why is it important to me? It's important to me because Hashem ingrained and infused into my kishkas that this is the pathway through which I am going to live my life. Who did that? And why are no two values the same with two people? Or some might. But the expression, that's why I asked you to ask, how is that expressed? The means through which it's expressed, one says, truth is important. The other one says, truth is important. Well, how do you express it? Two completely different ways. Because your circumstances are not your circumstances. So your truth is going to come out completely different than yours. So Hashem thought about all of this in such fine details. I'm going into Yom Kippur and saying, I'm going to take everything you've already given me, and now I could say, Hapam Odeka, give me more. Because I'm empty now, Hashem. Everything you've given me till now, I've used. Do you see? So now I could say to Hashem, give me more. Write me for another year. Because I'm utilizing already everything. All the nuts, bolts, hammers, and screws and wrenches you've given me in my toolbox, I'm already using. I need the upgraded 2023 version now of all these tools because I've got a lot of work to do. Look at all this work I need to do. Now I can have my holy chutzpah and go to Hashem and say, give me more. Why not? I'm utilizing already everything that you've given to me. I have to believe also in this whole formula that Hashem is behind all of this. I have to believe that his desire is for me to tap into all this raw potential of fulfilling and implementing these values. Like I said before, if I don't believe that I'm really capable of bringing this into fruition, then I have to add in almost like a 2.5 somewhere in between those four questions. There has to be a side, right? A side detour of asking myself, why don't I believe that I could really do this? What are the stumbling blocks? Do I really believe that Hashem wants me to do all of this? Do I believe I'm capable of doing it? And if I'm capable, then what more do I need? Oh, Hashem, well, it would be easier for me to not lie if I wasn't surrounded by people who scare me, and so I have to lie, right? Because if I don't lie, I'm going to be criticized. Oh, well, Hashem, you gave me this beautiful value called, speaking my truth, but Hashem, I'm trying here, I'm trying to uplift myself, but do you see what happens to me? I crumble up. I'm a snail. I go right back into my shell if I'm surrounded by, this and this. So I have what to come to him. And Hashem wants to hear that we're advocating for ourselves, that I have a reason to ask. He gave us a logical mind. He doesn't want us to just say, give me more money, give me a better husband, give me more children, or give me more money. That's not what he wants. Did you think about it? We have human logic. He gave us a brain so that we can take the time and contemplate and utilize it. And if we don't, we're no different than animals. Because animals want a lot of things, but they don't process why. I have to differentiate myself from the animal kingdom. I have to be able to utilize my mind and say, why do I want? Why am I asking for this? Why am I asking for my husband to be nicer? Why? Why is that important to me? Does it go against a certain value? Of course it goes against a certain value. It devalues me, right? But again, what can I do to heighten myself up? And how does that clash with the values that I hold dear? I need to formulate a story and come to Hashem with that. Hopefully before Yom Kippur, but certainly on Yom Kippur, as I'm doing my vidui, as I'm doing my confession, I want to be able to take accountability for where I didn't do what I was supposed to do as well. Okay, so I'm going to just take us straight into our meditation. I think I gave you enough to sort of work on. And the meditation, I can't put on music because I realize that I'm taping from my phone, and so I can't put music together with my. It's going to take me a while. It's fine, and it's very loud. Where that little speaker won't do it. Okay, it's fine. So we can go into our quiet white noise space here. What I'm going to ask everyone to do, first of all, has anyone ever not meditated? Okay, fine. And I'm sure that even those who have meditated still maybe need some pointers. So meditation, many times we think that meditation is about focus. It is. Meditation, medi, means to center yourself. It means to focus. But really the work of meditation is to refocus. Because it's natural, we have a jungle in our head, and it's natural for our brain, no matter how much we try to focus it. Why do we do meditation? Because we want to stick with that focus. But what happens in between? Your mind gets shifted. Don't be concerned. You're absolutely 100% normal. I would be kind of concerned if meditation, you don't tend to drift off. That means that we're very robotic. That's not the way that we function. So meditation is all about refocusing. So I'm going to keep throwing in more focus points, more focus points, so that as little as possible, your mind wanders off. The name of this meditation, the purpose of this meditation, is to help you come into your place of sanctuary within yourself. So what basically this means, and for anybody who's going to want to see this, you can go onto my YouTube channel, Daily Dose of Emuna, and it will be uploaded there in the coming, maybe even still tonight, I don't know, the coming whenever. But it'll be before Yom Kippur, Bezrat Hashem. So you'll be able to also hear the meditation. Don't think you have to take notes. I want you to all go into a meditative place right now. And the idea is after you've done all this work, but I'm going to do it for us now as well, because you already began to open up the gateway of this consciousness. You go into, and then you really feel what it feels like to really feel your holiness, to feel the sanctity, because our bodies are a holy temple. In fact, as we know from our, mystical teachings, that our body is the Bet HaMikdash. We have within us the Aron, Kodesh HaKodeshim, the Chatzel, all the courtyard, like all those places are inside of us. We are walking Betei Mikdashim. Okay, so I'm gonna, you don't have to pay attention to anything. Make sure the phones are on silence. Don't have anything in your hand. I know women get very conscious and think, oh, someone's looking at me. I'm not looking at anybody. I'm not staring at your face. You have nothing to worry about. I'm only looking at my notes or just looking up at the sky or at the ceiling. Okay? So I'm going to ask everyone to close their eyes. And I'm going to just also usher us into a place of more calmness. I'm trying to speak loud, even though it's not conducive to do a meditation speaking loud, but I am doing it so that everyone hears. Yeah, you could. Yeah, it's fine. Okay? All right. You're going to go into a meditation. Hopefully you won't feel the hot sweat. Okay. So everybody close their eyes. And I'm just going to guide you into some one or two breaths on how to breathe in order to slow down your sympathetic nervous system, to get you into a place of calmness and of quiet. We want to focus on our breath. We want to breathe in through our nose, hold at the top of the inhale through the nose for just a count of 1, and then exhale through the mouth. And also hold at the end of the exhale for the count of 1 before taking our next breath in. And while you're focusing on your breath, I'm going to explain the reason why we take the hold is because we want to make sure that the oxygen that we collected through our mouth is being properly distributed in our body so that it will have a profound effect on a cellular level in our bodies. And we stop at the end of the exhale to just appreciate what it's like to just be and rest. And to be in existence without having to do anything but just be. So as you're focusing on your deep breaths, I want you to just recognize and become aware of the idea that in this room, in this space that you're in right now, there's a tremendous amount of healing intention that has been generated from this class. And there are waves of consciousness that are literally being enveloped in this class. Everybody had thoughts. Everybody had intentions. Some of you might even been elicited to have some emotional values brought up, things, memories. And so there's a beautiful healing ocean of light, of purity, of desire that is right here. And even when you do this alone in your own home, you're generating always through your intentions. You're always generating a beautiful auric energy, bubble, light field around you through your intention to seek out your own purity. I want you to give yourself permission, and I say this because I know some of us do not give ourselves permission. That with every breath that you take, give yourself permission to bask in this healing energy of pure intention and desire to come to a greater state of wellness that we have committed ourselves to in this class. And let that seep down into the core of your body. Let it begin first to generate an energy field of purity, of light, of love and compassion towards yourself on the top of your head. And like waves of beautiful healing light and energy, let it begin to envelop your forehead and your eyes, going deep, deep inside your ears, descending down to your nose. Breathe it in, swallow it through your throat. Don't forget the back of your body, the back of your head, your neck, bringing it all the way down to your shoulders and trickling down to the right and left arms. And just feeling and acknowledging this beautiful healing intention of love, of purity that you have. You're just making yourself aware of this with every part of your body as we continue to descend downward into your chest and your heart. And take a moment to really spend time in your heart and clarify for yourself there is a righteous part, emotion, desire. And I want to touch that, and I want to come closer to that more and more with every day as we come closer and closer into Yom Kippur. And let that continue to descend downward into your upper abdomen, massaging all of those beautiful, healing internal organs that you have. Thank you, Hashem, for our liver and our stomach and our pancreas and our gallbladder and our spleen, our kidneys. Thank you. Thank you. Each part of your body, Rabbi Nachman says to thank every part of your body for doing the job to keep you alive. Going all the way further down, passing your navel into your lower abdomen, massaging all the reproductive organs, the intestines, further down into your hips, your legs, your thighs, your knees. How wonderful it is to have knees to be able to bend. And all the way down to your calves, ankles, and your toes. And what we've done now here is we've brought in the intention that we understand that we are walking sanctuaries. When we do this work, when we go into this meditative state, we fulfill the godly command, build for me a sanctuary and I will dwell amongst you. And just as the people built a Mishkan, a portable sanctuary, and they carried it with them wherever they went in the desert, in their journey, from place to place, so too your body, when you carry your body with this consciousness, I want you to recognize and appreciate and value that you are a walking embodiment of the Shekhinah, of the feminine divine presence that hovered over the Mishkan, that hovered over the tabernacle, the portable sanctuary throughout the journey. And I want you to focus on that and see yourself as the embodiment of the divine presence guiding you on your journey to life, through life. I want you to recognize that your skin forms the walls of your body temple. And your bones and your muscles are the supporting beams. Your hearts and your lungs and your vital organs. That is your sanctuary, your inner, sacred, holy of holies. And I want you to recognize, know, sense, feel, and experience the sacredness of your life. That you are a dwelling place for Hashem, for His presence. He entrusts you to be a carrier of His righteous presence, a conduit to pour into from Hashem through you into the world. And there's a reason why we have very specific openings in our head, through our eyes, our ears, nostrils, and mouth. Those are your windows. Rabbi Nachman says that your 7 openings in your face are the 7 spokes of the menorah that was lit in the Bet HaMikdash. They're the windows of your soul. I want to invite you to allow all of those openings, your eyes, your ears, your 2 nostrils, and your mouth. I want you to send through those openings this beautiful, healing, loving energy to anyone you'd like right now, anywhere in the world. Wrap them with hope, with healing, that they should find their righteousness, that they should be glowing in their robe of righteousness, that every cell of their body should be dancing with beautiful, righteous, holy light. And I want you to hold those images, become more and more aware of them, of what they offer to you in your life. What does that feel like for you? And just take a few deep breaths and recognize that every moment that you're breathing, Hashem is breathing in His presence into your sanctuary. And you are a beloved, devout beholder of His presence in the world. Just take a couple of deep breaths in, appreciate that place, that awareness that Hashem has offered to us here through this meditative practice. Become aware of your presence back here in the room, the boundaries of your body, the chair that you're sitting in right now. Become aware of your physical presence right here. And whenever you're ready, at your own pace, you can slowly and gently open your eyes, hopefully with a new sense of light, of understanding, enveloped with more joy. And able to walk into the new year and into Yom Kippur with a lot more accessibility to your holiness. I'll just share one last parting thought. I want us to understand that when we're able to really, really experience our soul and our purity and our godly presence in our bodies, we are actually creating a yichud. The Holy Baal Shem Tov teaches that there's an actual unity, there's a heaven meeting earth that happens in our bodies. Every time we go into a practice as we've just done, not only through the learning experience, academically, it filled our brain up with a tremendous amount of light. Your brains are on high voltage right now. If you want to make decisions, now is the time to try to make them, because your brains are now filled with a tremendous amount of light. And when you do this, when you bring in this presence, when you make this connection, you are literally fulfilling the reason why you have a body that holds a soul. That's called Yichud Elyon. It's called the holy matrimony of heaven meeting earth. Kutchabrichu and Shrinte, the godly male head, if you want to call it, with the female head. There's an actual marriage going on in your body. So it's the full embodiment of why we're here in the universe. So I invite you to just keep going into these places as many times as you can. I will say this, and with this I'll end. The more you do the meditation, you will experience it completely different every single day. And that is the you that I'm inviting you to reveal to yourself. Every time you go into these meditative places, you're like, wow, where did that come from? How come I saw a light this color? Yesterday I saw it that color. How come I had this memory? Yesterday I didn't have that memory. These are the expansions of the Ein Sof that Hashem wants to introduce you. These clarities, these healing opportunities that Hashem is inviting you to go into. And if you want to continue to deepen this place, I'm inviting you to go into oramunaenergy.com. I have plenty of classes and programs that take us into these places very structurally, very safe, all under rabbinical approval and supervision, and go into these places because these are the well springs that will usher in Mashiach. These are the teachings of the Holy Baal Shem Tov that you will read about in my book, that you will get to learn. I'm not the only one. There are plenty of amazing speakers that do this beautiful work because it's part of the prophecy of bringing Mashiach. Going into these places, recognizing our value, and embodying the righteous me and you that you really are. So I'm wishing everybody a Gemar Chatima Tova. I'm hoping for all of us to meet in the Bet HaMikdash very, very soon with our tambourines dancing. And it should be with a lot of rachamim and a lot of mercy. And go into the Yom Kippur bare naked. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You have such a value that will come to you when you allow yourself to go into Yom Kippur in this way. Don't be afraid to take off those garments of anger and disappointment and loss and confusion. Hashem knows you. He knows exactly who you are. Just bear yourself in front of him. Don't worry. He's going to pick you up like a mommy picks up her bare naked baby, and he'll put you in the mikveh, and you will emerge, God willing, with this beautiful new light. Shana Tova, Gmar Chatima Tova. Thank you, Yael, again. Thank you, Pesha.